Thrilled for this one because we've got a friend from a blast from the past almost. I mean, it's been a couple months since we've been able to connect. It's like when we moved into the new digs, it's almost like we just packed away, talking to Sarah every week, and we just couldn't find that box. It's like, well, I know the dishes are somewhere, so but we got to get them unpacked, and it's just kind of like, we just lives of, you've moved on from doing some schooling. You've accomplished some stuff with schooling. You've really started doing other stuff with business. But we're being joined by Sarah Goodell of Dahlia Creative Services. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing great. How are you, Zach?
Oh, another day, um, it is a recession, so 33 cents. So it is what it is. But we're doing great, and we're thrilled to have you on and finally get a chance to talk to you. So, Sarah, what made you start Autumn Dahlia?
What made me start Autumn Dahlia? Honestly, I wanted to show my kids that no matter what adversity you might face in life, that you can still do whatever it is that you wanted to do. Owning my own business has been something that I've wanted to do pretty much my entire life, and I never really had the opportunity to do it until I just sort of jumped into it.
One of the reasons why you're trying to teach your kids is because you were in a horrific accident, and it left you differently abled. Can you give us a little bit of explanation on what you went through?
Oh, absolutely. I lost my leg in 2008 in an absolutely horrific way. And I needed to find something that I could do, that I could honestly do on my own schedule where I could take care of my health and do it from my wheelchair. So I spent about 90% of my time in my chair. And I needed to find something that I could do and still support my family and still feel as if I was giving something back to them. And this was the perfect way for me to do it because I've had a passion for design ever since like junior high. And I didn't really know how to make it a business until I started to pretty much like jump into YouTube and different books and things like that. And I was self taught for the majority of the beginning of my career and then decided to go back to college for it.
That's your health issues are not the only thing that you deal with. You also have a couple kids who have special needs as well. Um,
That's
how difficult is it on a day-to-day basis just to go, just to wake up and say, you know what, we're going to continue to hell with what's out there, to hell with what's going on. We're going to continue. How many times have you ever sat up and just went, you know what, I'm done today? Or are you
Oh,
afraid
absolutely.
of doing
There
that?
was a point in time where I spent about 6 weeks inpatient for my mental health because I was just done with it all. I didn't want to do the things anymore. I didn't want to be the strong person anymore. I didn't want to do any of that anymore. I just wanted to be done. And I needed to continue on for my daughter. So I went and got help.
What are some of the things that kind of helped you through that?
I think one of the things that really helped me through it is knowing that there are other people who go through the same things. Instead of feeling like, oh my God, I'm the only person who feels this way, or I'm the only person who's ever had these thoughts, I was surrounded by people who had been through a lot of the same things and knew what it was to face those demons and to go through it. And just, having that sort of camaraderie and as silly as it sounds, a lot of times, people will be like, "Oh, group therapy is, for the birds, and who wants to sit in a group of people and talk about our shit?" But sometimes it really helps to do that, and that was one of the things that really got me through that.
I think that's one of the things when you and I started talking about doing things like rediscover the happy place. It was very apparent that and you and I both agree on this fact that not everyone learns, not everyone recovers the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
While group therapy may not be the best for me to call it, like you said, just a bunch of shit, that's naive. It's me being just not naive, but it's also closed minded, because just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it doesn't work
That
for
it
someone
doesn't work
else.
for somebody else. Exactly.
You also have another support system because you were one of the 1% that raised your right hand and you gave an oath to the country. Tell us about your service.
That's pretty much what it was. I saw it as a job, though. I see it as my fiance and I both feel the same way, is that it is a job, and we chose to do it. I mean, we knew what the costs were. I lost my former fiance in the line of service. So we both knew what it was that we were doing, and we were proud to do it.
Um, as you know, this dogtail just moved my green screen and you can see behind me. That was weird. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we've got a zoo now. So,
Well,
not
you
sure.
did say that you wanted a couple more animals. I don't know how many more you got, but
Well, you can see one whitetail. Oh, look here. There's one of them that they're wrestling now. So thank God for that. But anyway, so as you know, we're very, very thankful. Community pay it forward. We thrive on doing everything we can do because you guys did what you did. So thank you very much for what you do.
thank you for your support.
So tell me a little bit about what is Autumn Dahlia. What are you looking to do? And one of the things that you really focus on is brand strategy. What makes that different from other people?
Well, one of the things that I like to focus on in my business, which is a graphic design business, is um, brand strategy. And that is helping people discover their mission, their values, and all of the things that encompass their business. A lot of times when people start a business, they're like, oh, I'm going to grab some great looking colors and some fonts and throw a logo together, and that's my brand, right? Well, that's their branding is a whole lot more than that,
Mm.
and I like to help them kind of take a deep dive into it and figure out what it is that their business is going to be known for, what it is that they want their company to be known for, and to create their visuals based on that.
What is the difference between your brand and your logo? I know that there's always a misconception that well, my brand is my logo. No, it's not. No.
Your logo is only a part of your brand. Your logo is, let's say, um, the poster for your brand. It's just a piece. Your brand is your brand promise, what you promise to bring to the people that you serve and your audience, and also your mission, what it is that you intend to do with your business. That is your brand, versus your logo is just a visual.
This is one that I always struggled with. When I created my first logo, um, I used a lot of red in my logo. Red is one of my favorite colors. But red is really not people put in colors that they think, oh, you cannot type for me, baby girl. You cannot type for me. So, but people think about, what, this is my company, so I'm going to take and just put stuff out there. They don't realize that there are some colors that are really off-putting to people, and not
An
just
entire
off-putting, but
psychology behind colors and the things that, when we use them for marketing, the things that are involved in that. For example, when you go to McDonald's and they have their red and yellow, you're looking for those yellow arches because you want the fries, right? You
mm-hmm.
want the quick, easy meal that for some people actually tastes good. So you're looking for that iconic logo. When you go to Burger King, you're not really realizing it, but the orange and the red are supposed to actually make you hungry. And the logo is in the shape of the burger. So you're looking for those iconic things. And when people just kind of go with, oh, I want purple because that's my favorite color, they're not speaking to their audience. And the entire purpose of your brand is to speak to your audience.
It's really there is a lot of psychology behind all of it. There are certain colors that drag your eyes towards something, and as you said, you don't have to have the letters involved in a lot of these logos. You know, as you said, the golden arches, you don't need to know that that's McDonald's. It's,
Right.
that's McDonald's. It's not McDougal's, as Coming to America tried to tell us. The golden curves, not the golden arches, whatever that was. But I still remember that was such a funny movie. But would you stop trying to type for me, please? I know you see me do it all the time, but
He's like, no, I want to be
you're
a lap dog. I
you're
really.
you're such a pretty secretary, but boy, you're annoying. So, but there. What are some of the other things that people make big mistakes on when they try to do it themselves?
Oh, one of the largest things that I see on a regular basis for people that kind of DIY their stuff is they'll go to a program like Canva.com, which is great for social media graphics or short little videos, but it's not great for their logo, because if you take a logo and you create your logo and you're like, oh, I want to trademark it because I'm going to do big things with my business. When you use a template to create something, you can't trademark it. There's a million other people out there who might have the same thing that you do, and the trademark office is like, oh, it looks too similar to you know um Joe Blow down the street who just did their logo the same, with the same template. There's absolutely no way to trademark. So that's one of the big things, especially if you want your business to, go in that direction. Or another one is Canva is only capable of doing roster art, which means that it's made up of pixels. And if you hire a graphic designer who has access to a vector based program, all of their stuff is going to be based on mathematics. And um, if you were to take your logo and make it as tiny as you could be, you wouldn't lose any quality whatsoever. If you blew it up as large as a billboard, you wouldn't lose any quality whatsoever. And that's one of the big things that I see all the time is people send me, their JPEGs and their pings that they've made in the DIY programs, and the quality is just, it's sadly lacking. And I can understand from a person who just like jumped into their business, why you would want to save money anywhere that you can, but your branding shouldn't be that place.
When you have a couple lines of specialty, you really like working with retail, food, and lifestyle. I wrote down Lifetime. I don't know if you're working with the Lifetime channel or not, but
Maybe someday, but not today.
yeah, how about Lifetime? What are some of the things that you do to try to make sure that they get through what they want to get through?
Well, one of the biggest things that I do for anyone who comes to me for brand strategy is I create a whole aspect of branding for them. I don't just do the logo, I don't just do their website, I do everything from A to Z. So when you work with me, you get logos and alternative logos, you get your color palette based on color psychology, you get your typography all chosen for you, based on the things that you want to. Um, Sorry, that's one of my little guys in the background there. Um, Based on the things that you want to accomplish with your business. I'm going to help you with your mission statement. I'm going to help you with your brand values. And I'm going to put it all together in a pretty little package with a bow so that you know how to use each and every one of those pieces.
I'm glad that you brought up the mission statement, because the mission statement is sometimes, I think, something that gets overlooked quite a bit. People either go way overboard on a mission statement, or they leave it way too vague.
Mhm.
People in the nonprofit world that leave their mission statement vague, they end up paying for it when they go to try to file their 501c3, because that's one of the things that right away the state that you're in is going to sit there and go, and no, this doesn't tell us what you're doing. You know, this doesn't give you the direction that we need from you. Um, what is a good mission statement? What helps?
Ideally,
What is
your mission statement should be at least 3 sentences that tells your ideal audience what it is that you do. I've been in a lot of networking events where people are like, "Oh, I sell insurance," or "Oh, I help people align with their soul's purpose." That does not tell me anything of what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me what your purpose for starting your business is. It doesn't tell me what it is that drives you every day. Part of your mission statement should be your why, not like going into this is why I started my business and this is why I do the things, but it should describe to your target audience in less than 3 sentences exactly what it is that you hope to accomplish.
You are part of the Community Pay It Forward program. You have joined with us, and we appreciate it. Which means that every time somebody hires you through us, oh, aren't you just cute? Now go away. Every time somebody hires you to do some work, you're going to donate to causes that they choose. If you go to our homepage and click here on our verified partners, you can come down here, and the first place that you can find Sarah is right here under ADA website compliances. One of the reasons why this is very important, Sarah, can you please explain what an ADA compliant website is?
Oh, absolutely. First, let me say that my website was actually hacked a couple days ago, so I know that my website is no longer in compliance. However, one of the most important things to me is to make sure that everybody in the community can use my website, whether it's my non sighted friends, my friends that need a little bit of assistance with. The text being a little bit bigger or screen readers, anything in that realm. I want everybody to be able to use my services, and I'm going to, if the need calls for it, to go out of my way to make sure that their websites are just as open to everyone.
Website compliance, that again, that's one of those that you've got to be really careful when you choose your colors. Here you do a lot of gray and white, and that's because
Mhm.
they counteract each other. They're obviously not colors, they're shades, but one of the things that they are is they stick out to each other. You're going to see dark gray here in the white, you're going to see the light gray in the dark gray. if you try to put if you try to put this white here on the back of a pink background, you're not going to be able to see anything.
Oh
If
dear,
it's
no.
a light pink
A lot
ground.
of people don't realize that the ADA spoke out and said, "Hey, things are going to everything is flying into cyberspace essentially, and all websites, if you provide a service, need to be ADA compliant. They need to be just as available and accessible to everyone as if you were to step into a store."
One of the other things that is very important about ADA compliance, and I mean this one is truthfully, this is just common sense. But if you're not ADA compliant and you've got somebody who, your text is too small, they can't read it, they're going to move somewhere else. They're going to go somewhere that they can read it. They can't just say they're colorblind and they have issues seeing because of the way that things are put together on your website. They're going to go somewhere where they can see it. So ADA compliance is very important to everything that you do. You know of a time when we told somebody that we concentrated on ADA compliance, and we were told, how do you make a website ADA compliant? It's not a store. You don't need a wheelchair ramp. ADA compliance means so much more
It
than
goes way
wheelchair
beyond
ramps.
a wheelchair ramp.
So yeah, it was one of those things that of course a friend of mine and I, we still laugh about it every day today. It's like, well, can you pull your wheelchair yet up into the website? I mean, is it?
I mean, in time, there might be virtual reality where we can do that, but they were extremely closed minded, and I think we saw that every part of that particular individual. But
Yeah. So it was a trying time, trying to explain to people sometimes that, look, not only is this better for your business, but it's just fair to people who are out there.
absolutely, even if you don't have an experience with having someone who is differently abled in your life, you should kind of think outside the box a little bit and want to service all of the people in your particular niche or your particular area of expertise that you can. And for a lot of people, they don't realize that that could include somebody who is in the non hearing world or someone who is non sighted. They don't realize that, people who are differently able surf the web just the same way that they do. And they might be looking for those same services as well.
If not more, because it is a lot of times harder for them to get out into the business world. It's not like they can go stroll down Main Street all the time, because it's just it's more difficult for them. So there are a lot of times when it is so much more difficult for them. So it's it's very important to make sure that you take care of people, because these are the people who are going to support you. So
Oh,
let's
absolutely.
let's just remember that. So, Sarah, what do you see coming forward for you in 2023? What is one of the biggest things you're going to work on?
One of the biggest things that I intend to work on in 2023 is one, rebranding my website a little bit better so that it does service the people of the differently able community to the best degree that I am able to. I have a great friend who is in the non sighted world, and Jerry has a bunch of talents that a lot of people just don't realize because they're like, oh, he's just the blind guy. He's not he doesn't do anything during the day. People have the most closed-minded views that they possibly can, and it strikes me as something that really needs to be addressed and brought to the forefront so that people realize that that is going on and that it needs to change.
I think that that's something that truly has always fascinated me, that people can sit there and say, well, this person can't do it. They can't see. How could well
Right.
you know
He
but
has 20 years in the broadcast industry, and people are like, oh, he can't see the switchboard, so how can he do it?
but I
More
mean,
than most sighted people, I can tell you that.
let's put it this way: Beethoven was deaf. Okay,
Right.
so think about that. I mean, there's where it's a true statement now. It's just as true as it's always been: where there's a will, there's a way, and where there's a will, there's success. If you don't and if you don't let people in, they can't share in your success. So make sure that you get a hold of somebody who's actually competent and know what they talk about with all of this.
That's
So
another thing that
um
I think is so important when it comes to the graphics or the branding that you have for your business is to allow somebody to kind of dig into that with you and ensure that it is that you're paying for is going to last you for years versus a few months.
yeah. You are also going to be joining us on February 22nd for our second annual community. Let me try this again in English. Thank God I speak for a living. Community Mission to Rescue 22. This is something very important to you because, once again, you are a veteran. You have lost people. And so, what are some of the things that you would like to see us do as a community, not just as a business, but
I
as a
think one of
community
the
to
things
try
that
to make better?
is most important to me, not only seeing my friends and as a caregiver of a vet as well, who also cares for me. So we have kind of a interesting dynamic. But as someone who pretty much sees it every day in our community, um, we need to do better. All in all, we need to do better. There are people who, see people on the side of the street and they're like, oh, that guy is just a junkie. That guy, needs to go out and get a job. That guy had a job. That guy came back from absolutely terrible things that no one should have to see and needs mental help. You shouldn't judge. Don't judge the book by its cover. Don't assume that the person who's out there panhandling today is just doing it because they're lazy and they don't want to get a job. There are people out there like that, but 99% of the time it's going to be somebody who has just fallen on hard times. We need to
It,
do better.
the true fact is that, you know what, we don't understand all the time what people are doing. We don't, and who are we to judge? I mean, let's be honest here. And one of the things that I like to close shows out is by telling people, you know what, throw an extra hoodie in your car, because regardless if that person is out there just because they're lazy, or if they're out there because that's what they have to do to survive. The
Right.
truth is that if they're out there when it gets too damn cold, it could kill them.
Yeah.
And that hoodie's not going to hurt you one bit if it's on the back of
Exactly.
somebody else.
Even if it's
So,
just something
it's
small
really
like
kind of one of those things. Yeah. And one of that's truly one of the things with Community Mission to Rescue 22 we're going to focus on. So we are going to be thrilled to have you involved. So, but Sarah, how did they get a hold of you?
If you would like to get a hold of me for a coffee chat to see if we're a good fit to work with, or if you would like to just, see what I have going on, you can reach me at create@autumndahlia.com or autumndahlia.com. And I promise by the end of the week, my website will be back in compliance and actually functional.
Yeah, we just ran into a problem where she was unfortunately hacked and her homepage is gone. It's so, but you can look at the rest of the website
there, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, it's still a beautiful website. Everything else is beautiful. Everything else is informational. Just don't look at the homepage, because I mean, hey, you got a little bit of information there.
They just left
the information that tells you your page is not here. So that's just kind of humorous. But Sarah, thank you very, very much again for your service. You know how much I appreciate that. Thank you for everything that you've done and everything that we're going to continue to do as partners. Please make sure that if you have any questions, you reach out to Sarah. Her phone number is 989-262-0245, or you can get her at create@autumndahlia.com. Thank you very much, my dear. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Jack. Anytime.